Some military families, the days leading up to 9/11 can bring back bad memories and even trigger PTSD. That's the case for one Maryland woman who lost her husband in the attack on the Pentagon. Fox 5's Paris Jones has the story tonight. He's live at Upper Marlboro with more. Paris.
That's right, and she tells me her husband's office was in the area where that plane hit that day, and she says what's gotten her through this, all the tough years, is her faith, family, and friends. This is Martha Jackson Hawley, and standing beside her in the picture, her husband, Jimmy Hawley.
He was my everything.
They had been dating since 1989, and in 2000, they got married. Jimmy was retired military who did 2 tours in Vietnam. In 2001, he was working as an accountant inside the Pentagon. Martha and Jimmy had a routine. Every morning, he'd call her to make sure she got to work safely at the Fort Myers military base where she was a pharmacy technician. But the morning of September 11th, they had to keep their talk shorter than usual because the pharmacy was busy with patients.
I told him, I said, babe, I must get back to work. I went back to my patients in the pharmacy. Then all of a sudden, we heard this great big boom, and it shook the whole building.
Martha says everyone had to leave the building. And once outside, they were met with a thick cloud of smoke. She says at that moment, she knew something was wrong.
I didn't know the plane that really had hit it. All I saw was smoke and fire. But it was a feeling because we was very close.
Her children, Daniel and Kelly Jackson, were working on the opposite end of town, but knew something was off.
We heard over the radio that a plane hit the Pentagon, and I knew for a gut feeling that that my father was something that happened to him.
Jimmy Hawley didn't make it home that night, so the family started calling every hospital in town to no avail. They say the next few days were filled with anxiety, not knowing where he was.
It was hard. It was very hard.
Even though deep down they knew he may be gone.
We knew he was there, we just didn't want to accept it, or maybe ready to accept it. So it's still hard, even to this day.
Mr. Jimmy wasn't officially identified until months later when his remains were found. 20 years have passed and the family still has a hard time dealing with their loss, especially around this time of year.
I think I cried for about 7 years. Right now I have anxiety attack.
A lot of people say, you know, it's the best and you have to move on with life, but how do you move on? It's hard. It's hard when you didn't get a chance to say goodbye.
Today, they still keep his belongings that were found near the crash site, a handkerchief, belt, and some remnants of his clothes from that day, and the dream he left behind for his granddaughter, Kayla, who was in daycare the day of the attacks.
My grandfather and I, we were very close since I was a baby.
He had written down that this is going to be our lawyer of the family. I always said that she was going to be a lawyer.
Now I'm in law school, I'm working at a law firm, I'm just like really trying to keep his legacy and just keep everything going.
And the family tells me what's kind of helped them navigate through all the grief over the years is actually connecting with other families who lost a loved one that day, September 11, 2001. Back to you.